This conference will now be recorded.
All right, as always, everything that we're going to be going over today is for educational purposes only and nothing as intended as any type of investment advice. All right, so overnight, it looks like the market was kind of happy about the Democrats taking over the House because basically everything that we can see pretty much jumped up, not a crazy amount, but definitely jumped up a bit. But so far this morning, not too many new things out there. We're going to talk about our everyday stocks in a second, but I have a few stocks that are looking pretty decent. Nothing spectacular, but not looking too bad. Now, first one is Zillow. Now, Zillow took a big hit yesterday in the aftermarket. We could see a gap down, closed at 41.04, and gap down pretty much to its lows here, about 31.50. But coming into it this morning, we can see a few decent sell prints that we've gotten. I mean, 33.85, although it's pretty far past there at this point, wasn't terrible. And you can see we had a little bit of a burst come in at that 32 level on the bid side of things. All right, so stocks pulling up from those bid prints at this moment. Would expect it to end up falling down. You can see the orders are extremely thin, and we talked about this yesterday. Is that really what I want to start a trade of my day off of a stock that only has two prints at a level? No, not really. But at the same time, if we look how thin the orders are out there, I'm certainly going to have an effect on the movement of what we're going to be expecting from there. So at the end of the day, I really would like to see a better show of hand, but it's going to affect it in a at least enough of a way that we should be able to get a little bit of a trade after this pull up coming back down underneath. Now, hopefully, obviously we'll see more selling coming in as it comes back down there to really confirm that after this pull up, we're going to be expecting movement to that downside. Now, next one is TWLO, and it's almost in that kind of same category. It's not anything phenomenal. I mean, there's nothing in here that I was really that ecstatic about. I mean, you could see here, we did have a print that came in at 80. On the ass side of things. That was yesterday. Now, coming into this morning, we actually had more selling that I'm seeing than anything else. So you can see that 83 level, we had some selling that came back in. And everything else, 81 another time. So going to be expecting a bunch of a pull up in this one as well before we would see it continue and satisfy those prints. But the same type of deal. The orders are very thin, so those few prints are going to affect it. I really would rather see something more come out there, though. I mean, two prints is not really what I would want to start my morning trade off with. Definitely going to want to see something that has a better show of hand that's coming out there. But at this moment, it's really the only two things that I see that I really like too much. So let's take a look at our scanners before we go over to our everyday stocks. You can see, I mean, there's some good stuff out there, some good volume out there, excuse me, not really, anything that I'm seeing that looks too great of a trade. So FOXMX, we have 603,000 shares, made a beautiful move up overnight, but there's just no real follow. You can see the volume in this on these cheaper stocks. I want to see it at least around 50,000 shares, and we just do not have that at all. Just been in kind of a steady downtrend. Nothing really that stands out that says the stock has to go back up. So just really not seeing much interest in it. MTSL, this is another one. You can see it jumped up on absolutely nothing, just kind of falling right back down to where it started from. I have no interest there. XOG, 573,000 shares, but another one. It's just not really doing anything. We've had some bigger prints out there, and that's really where we're getting most of this volume. You can see 100,000, we have 75,000, 20,000, 25,000, really just all bigger prints, but no real trading that's going on within it that I have any interest in. SRCI, absolutely not. GNC just isn't really a mover, and it moved a little bit, but you can see it trades about 23 cents each day. Not something that we're going to want to focus on. We've already spoken about TWLO. Coming over to HPR, we have 343,000 shares, but doing absolutely nothing. I mean, we got some great volume. ITG looks like a buyout. 1.2 million shares, which would be phenomenal, but there's just no movement in it whatsoever. NBGL, same deal. I mean, it's just, I feel like a broken record. Anything that has any type of decent volume in it's not really doing anything or really making any type of moves or giving us any real indications of what they're looking to do. And that's all we're looking for coming into the pre-market. So jumping over to the loser side, another really big list with some stocks out there with some good volume in it. Now, MDXG isn't bad, but unfortunately, you're not going to be able to, you're more than likely not going to be able to short it. And then coming in at that 4 level, it's just a very, very, very mixed level. I mean, coming back up, you can see mostly selling around the 450 and that 460. So I don't really see too much there. I'm going to put it on our side list, but it's really like, on the bottom of the barrel side list. I do not expect anything from it whatsoever. But you know what? Sometimes I've been shocked before, so I'll keep an eye on it. But like I said, it's going to be probably one of the last things that I really look at because I do not expect much from it whatsoever. Okay, INFN. Another one where it's just sitting there, going across. It has decent volume, but nothing that we could do anything with. We have Z, which we've already spoken about. FTR, 356,000 shares, doing absolutely nothing. Now, Cores, 460,000 shares. This is certainly going to move. Now, Cores, I do like. It's not really doing much right now, but if we come over here and you look at those prints that we had at 50-50, I love the selling over here. Okay, so then we have two prints that came in at 51 on the ask and 51 here, but it's really going to be these big bursts of selling that came in. I like what I see there. So I'm going to expect it to pull up above there, more than likely above the 51 as well, to satisfy these prints before we end up seeing it satisfy that selling back towards that downside. So like what I see going on in Cores. And whenever Cores shows up on the list, we usually get some really nice movement in it. So that's probably one of my favorites that I've seen so far, other than obviously the TWO and the Z. Moving along, we have not much else. So we have here HEAR, which is just I mean, we've traded it before, but there's just not enough that's going on in there. Maybe big move yesterday in the aftermarket, but that's pretty much it. This morning, there's not much interest coming into it whatsoever. More than likely, what we're going to end up seeing is just a low volume, movement today within it. Solo, absolutely not. And that's pretty much it, guys. I don't see too much else out there. All right, so let's take a look at our everyday stock. So first of all, we have Apple. With Apple, we knew how to jump up to at least 205. Very interesting prints here, and I saw it that happened on the chart, but I didn't get to see what the actual prints themselves were. Let's see if I can see that, because you can see right at that print line, 203.77, this stock came back down in not only 1 minute, but 2 minutes. So that means there's got to be some prints there. I'm going to have to look at it and see what went on, because I don't, once again, I don't see any bigger prints that came in to do that. It must have been some smaller prints that were coming back in. But Apple, once again, we have some really, really good selling coming down at that 200 level. So we've made our jump and what we need to see. Now, it has one print at 206, but that's no big deal. All right, so essentially we're going to be looking for that trigger down to come back into there. CGC, so remember, yesterday I was doing class, so I didn't get to watch CDC 100%, but what I do know is that if there's prints at 41 that have not been satisfied yet, we're going to be looking for them to come back down to satisfy. Okay, anything else that was there, I mean, it's just following the rules. So even though it's up nicely today, okay, just like like everything pretty much else is out there, I'm going still based off those prints alone. Remember, unfortunately I wasn't watching it during teaching, so I'm not really sure what happened at 42. It looks like it might have printed there and then pulled back a little bit, and it looks like anywhere else that it printed, but I'm certainly going to be expecting it to come back down underneath that 41 level. Let's take a look at Twitter. Now, Twitter, remember, 35 is a strong resistance at this moment because of the fact that we know we have really big buying at 35. It also has 34.50 prints that we need to see. So we have a lot of stocks out there that we're looking that need to have pullbacks. All right, so basically after this big move up today, I mean, it really isn't on that much volume. I mean, if you look at Apple trades pretty well during the pre-market. All right. And I mean, 556,000 shares, that's great. But if you look at the actual volume on the movement with this morning and, kind of jumping up, there's not really much up here. Okay, that's holding it up around that 206.50. So that, kind of gives us an indication of what we're going to be expecting to follow where the prints need to go first before we end up getting those upward movements. All right, guys, anything else out there that I missed? I think that is about it. All right, nada. All right, guys. So remember, class is going to be starting at 10 a.m. I've already sent the link out to everybody that is enrolled. So we'll be taking everything that we went over yesterday, and we're going to go back into the market and really basically find these things out and do our examples live. All right, guys. So looking forward to that. I will talk to you all, everyone in the chat room in a second. I'll see everyone else in class at 10. Happy trading.